Despite not paying him this offseason, according to Keith Smith of Spot Track, the Nets love Cam Thomas. The Nets think highly of him, and they want to keep him here. Was Cam Thomas initially lowballed on an initial contract offer revealed by NBA insider Jake Fisher? Hello, everyone, and welcome back here into another edition of the Brooklyn Boys Show. Make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe on your way into the building. It's completely free, and it helps us grow significantly right here on the show. Questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. We will certainly react to those. So get all those loaded up in the chat. Appreciate all of your support as always. And he's back, baby. I'm sure most of the audience doesn't even know who this person sitting next to me on this panel is because he took off for a month. He was off the grid for a month. We initially started the pod together. Obviously, so much growth over this past month. So for those who do not know, introducing my co-host from day one here on this show, the great Joshua Woolever. How you been? Good to be back, and a lot happened with the Nets while you were gone.
Connor, so good to be back to this community that has grown far beyond what I imagined when I left. So thank you to you. Thank you to all the viewers. Excited to be back. Talk Nets basketball. I know I missed the summer league, but it already feels like preseason's right around the corner, and before you know it, we'll be at the Barclays Center for opening day.
Oh, yeah, baby. Something that you didn't miss was a Cam Thomas extension, and that's something, a lot of Nets fans have been holding out hope for. Some now get to the point where it's like, what's the overall goal of retaining Cam Thomas with some of the reports that we're hearing that it may only be, a 1 or 2 year deal. I've come to the conclusion all along that I don't think the Nets love Cam Thomas. Nothing has shown that they truly love Cam Thomas, whether it's how much they use him, whether it's, the respect they give him off the court, how much they use him, promotion-wise, on and off the floor. I just don't get the sense that Sean Marks and the Brooklyn Nets have this true love for Cam Thomas where they view him as a player they want to keep, they want to retain, they want to take care of, like a Nick Claxton, for example, where that was made clear right out of the gate, or a guy like Cam Johnson as well. I just don't get that sense with, Brooklyn and Cam Thomas. But if you ask NBA insider Keith Smith of Spot Track, he would say I'm wrong. A Nets executive told Keith Smith, quote, "We love Cam. We think he's one of the best scoring guards in the league and an underrated playmaker. We'll see what happens, but our feeling about Cam as a player and person have never wavered. We love him," is what Smith quoted from a Nets executive. I'm not buying this right off the top, Josh, because if you love him so much, why haven't you paid him when, the restricted free agency market isn't through the roof at all? You can get Cam Thomas right now on, I think, a pretty cheap deal given what he's performed, especially from a scoring standpoint on the floor. If you love him this much, if you think so highly of him, why haven't you paid him? I don't know if this is all that true coming from the Brooklyn Nets organization.
It's so confusing. I thought before I left, Cam Thomas would be back for multiple years, and throughout my time when I was getting updates from you every here and there, and it was that the ball has not moved on Cam Thomas. It just kept getting more and more confusing because he's taking shots on the floor. He's making shots at a high rate. I think I love his playmaking ability. I don't see a reason why the Nets wouldn't either. But this could easily be an executive just telling lies and smiling through their teeth. Maybe they don't like Cam Thomas for whatever reason they may be. And the fact of the matter is, when they have this much cap space, the question becomes, if you actually do like Cam Thomas, why haven't you done anything? I think that Cam Thomas should be a Net for the next 3+ years. I think he wants to be. He's liked his time in Brooklyn. But this is confusing and to a point it's getting concerning where you think, is he not a Net? And who could possibly start to scoop him up?
I agree with what you said about his scoring. I vehemently disagree about his playmaking. I personally view Cam Thomas as a one-dimensional player when it comes from a scoring perspective. He doesn't offer you much from an assist standpoint. He doesn't play make, and I don't think that's truly his fault. He's a ball-dominant point guard who, let's be real, his shooting splits haven't been all that efficient throughout his career, but he is someone who, whenever you need him to go get a bucket, he could do just that. I don't think that's worth $30 million a year. I think on a championship winning team, when it comes to him being a winning piece, he's a sixth man. He's a rotational piece who comes off the bench. I don't think he's a number 1 through 5 option on a championship winning team. That's my question when it comes to, how much of a winning piece truly is Cam Thomas. And I think that's ultimately going to decipher how much money he gets, whether it's with the Brooklyn Nets or whether it's with another team this offseason. I think the relationship between Brooklyn and Cam Thomas is clearly strained. Cam Thomas has been very, very frustrated on social media the whole way this contractual situation has been handled, along with the fact that he's removed every single Nets post from his social media profiles. He's unfollowed the Nets on social media. So Cam Thomas clearly not thrilled with this situation that continues to unfold in Brooklyn and continues to become something on the top of every single Brooklyn Nets fan's night as they hit the pillow. So Cam Thomas continues to be a huge talking point here, Josh. What do you think is a fair asking price for Cam Thomas?
I think he's going to get somewhere in that 20-ish, 25-ish a year. I think that he knows what his worth is. He's entering his prime. And what I would say about his playmaking is when I was saying that, you're right, it's not from an assist perspective. It's more of from an ISO perspective, from an any place at any time kind of score. And it doesn't matter where he is on the court. I think he can go get a bucket. And to me, the offense can run through him, like not so much as a point guard, but just as an anytime score. But from a contractual perspective, I would say low 20s ish.
Jake Fisher, NBA insider, well-known NBA insider for the Stein line, reported that the Nets offered him a 2-year, $28 million deal. That was the initial offer, $14 million a year. Josh, do you think that's a low ball towards CT?
To me, absolutely. And I think he's honestly could be a little disrespected by that. I think he's shown enough loyalty. He came in here as a late first round pick. He proved far beyond what a lot of people thought when he came in here from LSU, and I think he's worth more than 14 a year.
I don't particularly agree with that from the standpoint that I think he was completely lowballed. This is someone who's coming off a year where he played 25 games. Again, we've seen him
Right.
score 25 points per game on a team where he's the number one option. He's the only guy who can score. The question that myself and a bunch of Net fans continue to go back to is how great of a winning piece is he truly? And I think that's the question that the Nets continuously come back to and think, should we pay him? Should we not? Just given that overall, I think $14 million is a plenty fair offer for someone who has been a cone defensively, someone who has given you no value when it comes to assists, and has averaged 25 points per game, which is very, very – I love Cam Thomas, too. I really do like Cam Thomas. He's giving you 25 points per game. I agree with that, and I think that's a very solid, very solid when you just look at it from a pure number standpoint. But how great of a winning piece is he? I don't think he's worth anything more than $15 million a year at this stage of his career.
And see, I disagree with you because in the modern NBA, Cam Thomas is paid to shoot. Like, yes, he's not a good defender.
If he's on the
right.
Oklahoma
Yes,
City
he's not
Thunder,
a good.
if he's on the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Cleveland Cavaliers, is he a starting guard?
Over Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, no.
What about over Shea and J-Dub?
No.
So, like, on championship...
Okay, you picked the two best teams in the league.
I chose the championship caliber.
You're right.
team.
He's not a top 3 guard in the league.
Well, it's not being a top 3 guard. I think Darius Garland's very underrated. I don't think he's a top 3 guard.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think Darius Garland is a far better basketball player than Cam Thomas is. I value him way more. I mean, someone who can get you not 25, he can get you about 18, 19 points per game, but also contributes 7 assists. I think that's way more valuable to NBA teams. You look at all the championship teams in this league, Cam Thomas isn't starting. I view him as a 6th man on a good team, and on a bad team, he's a number 1 option who can give you 25 points per game.
What I would say about that is that the Brooklyn Nets are not the best team in the world.
That's what
right
they
now.
want to be. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make, Josh. Like, what's
they need
the
to
point
score for now, though.
You have Michael Porter Jr. to do that, and I think that's the biggest question we come back to. What direction is this team truly going in? You don't give someone $20 million a year if you don't want them to be here when you're trying to win a championship in a few years. That's the ultimate goal for Brooklyn. If they don't think Cam Thomas can be a starter on a championship winning team where they want to be in 3-5 years, hopefully down the road, why would you give him $20 million a year? That's the question I keep coming back to.
Because when healthy, like the
We
production
haven't seen him
level from a
healthy on a good
scoring
team.
what?
Every year we've seen him on a contender. He has done nothing.
Cam Thomas?
Cam Thomas. 2 years
Yeah.
the Nets were in the playoffs. He's contributed virtually nothing. And to be fair, that was in the early end of his career. But again, keep in mind, this is a guy who's coming off 25 games played last season. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like he averaged 25 points per game on a top 5 NBA team and 76 games on efficient shooting splits.
No, but when healthy, Cam Thomas can be that number one scorer on this Nets team. And if you're looking at a 2-year deal, I don't know about you, but this Nets team isn't anywhere close to touching the finals in 2 years. So why would that matter?
So what's the point of paying him then? What's your overall goal with paying him? If it's not to pursue a championship, why would you pay Cam Thomas?
Well, I would say you want to pursue a championship in the future, but it doesn't have to be within the 1 to 3 year window in which you're paying him. So
So
you
then
get back to that
why would you want to
contract
pay him if you don't think he's going to be here when this team is competing for an NBA championship?
because I think they want scoring now, and they want to keep homegrown talent that they drafted, and they would rather
Well, if they wanted to
get
keep
this
homegrown
restricted free
talent, he would
agent
have been
that
paid
they have
already.
access to than hit the open market.
If they wanted to pay him so bad, if they wanted to keep homegrown talent, I think he would have been taken care
No,
of
you're
already.
right. You're right, and that's why it's so confusing. You're right.
I think Cam Thomas comes back on the qualifying offer, which
Mhm.
is $6 million, and he plays out the year. And honestly, at this point, I'd rather just trade Cam Thomas at this point. Like, you're clearly not going to keep him on a multi-year deal. But again, it's like the Nets have cornered themselves into this. I would have just rather given Cam Thomas take the 2-year, $28 million deal. That's the best he's going to get. And if he's insulted by that offer, just given what he's shown throughout his career, especially entering this season, he better grow up, because that I think is a very generous offer based on, the skill set that he brings to teams, the skill set that he brings to winning teams overall. I think Cam Thomas, there's a chance he comes back on the qualifying offer, and I think that's a testament to just how much the Nets truly botched this whole situation. He doesn't have any trade value either. It's like, if you look to trade him, what are you getting? There are so many teams that are hard capped at the second apron, so there's that as well. The suitors are already limited right out of the gate. And then second off, what are you getting for Cam Thomas? What is a team trading for? Cam Thomas is on a qualifying offer, and you're going to have to pay at the end of the year next year, because no matter how poor or great he plays, if you go into the year with him on the qualifying offer, he's sitting unrestricted free agency next year, and you already know he's going to feel so disrespected. He is not going to come back to Brooklyn under any circumstance.
That's the question. What kind of trade value can you get for him? And at this point, you're right, the contending teams that would think about picking him up are already in salary cap trouble. And as you mentioned, he would need a new contract at the beginning of next year. So the question becomes, who would be willing to take Cam Thomas, and how much would you get in return? Because if you don't get a good return, I mean, you kind of have to keep him at that point.
What would you rather do? Would you rather get one first round pick for Cam Thomas on the qualifying offer, or keep him and play out the
Keep
year?
him.
I'd agree
For
with
a
that.
late first, I would keep him.
I'd keep him too. Again, it's like he has no value either way at this point. Because unless he gets a multi-year deal,
Okay.
he's not going to be here for more
Okay, let
years.
me propose something. He takes whatever, they circle back around. He takes 14 a year for 2 or 3 years, and then the Nets re-sign, and he's a bucket getter. The Nets re-sign him later on. Yes or no?
Sorry, what was that?
He takes the 14 a year that he was offered for 2 or 3 years or whatever,
2 years.
and he's just a baller, like whatever, 30 points a night, and
That's
for
not
some reason,
going to happen.
you still don't think he fits our championship timeline, but he
Cam
wants
Thomas.
to re-sign with Brooklyn.
Cam
at the end of
Thomas
the
isn't
2
a
or 3
30
years.
points per game scorer. So I think that's irrational.
No, I'm just saying, like, if he balled out of his mind, and
Obviously, no matter what team you're on, if someone averages 30 points per game, you pay them.
yeah,
But Cam Thomas is an inefficient shooter too. That's another point.
he just takes a high quantity. Yeah.
And again, you're gonna have, and to be fair in his defense, you're gonna have inefficient shooting splits when you're the only one chucking up shots on your team, and you're a number one option on, in my opinion, a bottom 4, bottom 5 team in the NBA as it currently stands. So your shooting splits are gonna be inefficient that way. It's just I don't think he has that high value. Like I don't think his value is through the roof to the point. I mean, could you see another team trying to come in and sign Cam Thomas?
Just off the streets. I mean, the fact that Brooklyn can match whatever it is going to kind of make it tough. But I mean, I suppose you need some cap money. I don't know what other teams are looking like.
So yes or no? You think Cam
Yeah,
Thomas
I
is
think. I
going
mean, I
next?
think other teams would try and make a bid for him.
This is such an interesting situation to monitor between him, Kuminga, Gideon, Grimes. Summer league's complete. We're approaching August 1st, and all four of these big name restricted free agents still remain on the market. So this looks like a situation that is ultimately going to carry on for a long time here, Josh. Who'd you rather have? We'll say $20 million a year rate, Cam Thomas or Jonathan Kuminga?
Cam Thomas.
Why?
Because I think the Nets don't have a number one scorer right now. Like you need somebody who can get buckets, and to me, he just feels like he was a success when he got drafted. I would keep him around, and for me, like Kuminga, yes, but how old is he?
Kuminga, 24, 25. I think he's 24. Let me just fact check that for you quickly right here on the show. 22. Wow, I was way off.
Oh, he's 22. Okay, so
Because
he's younger
he's
than
kind of
Cam.
bounced around a little bit. So it's like you think he's a guy who's
Yeah,
older than he is. Like
yeah, he
he's just,
feels like almost a vet in my mind.
yeah, I know, because he's kind of never really found that role. And it's like when you don't find your role, I feel, in my opinion, 3 years into the NBA, feels like you've been in the league for such a long time. When it comes to who I'd rather have, I think it has to be Cam Thomas. And I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me there in the chat. Kuminga, yes, is a better all-around player, but when it comes to what this team needs overall, I would rather have someone who gets you 25, 26 points per game and two assists with minimal defense than someone who gets you 15, 5, and 1. I think Kuminga has the potential to be a solid winning piece in the NBA. I think he has potential to be a solid winning piece in the NBA for sure. But he's not worth $20 million a year. He's not worth $30 million a year. This is a guy who still remains, you bet on his upside still as he multiple years into his NBA career. That's the thing. Like, how much longer can you truly bet on a guy's upside till it gets to the point where it's like, all right, you really got to show us who you are. Now, I think that's the crossroads, if you will, that is kind of occurring with Jonathan Kuminga right now in the rest of the league. When is it going to be, all right, you actually have to show something and you have to prove why you're worth $20 million a year? Because what Jonathan Kuminga has proved is nowhere near $20 million a year.
Absolutely. And just to add on, like, Brooklyn needs a bucket getter, not someone who's going to dish it out.
Appreciate you all tuning in. Josh Woolever, Connor Long, right here with you guys on the Brooklyn Boys Show. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and it helps us grow significantly. I see all you guys in the chat. Keep throwing all your questions, comments, thoughts in the chat. We're going to get to those. Quick break right here on the Brooklyn Boys Show. Word from our sponsor, and we will be back. Josh Woolever, Connor Long, right here with you guys on the show. Stay tuned, folks.
You are listening to the Brooklyn Boys Show with your host, Connor Long. If you're enjoying the show, drop us a sub and leave a like. It helps more Nets fans find us. Quick break, then back to talking Brooklyn Nets basketball.
Today's episode of the Brooklyn Boys Show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Shoreline Sports Cards, located at 137 Main Street in Port Washington, New York. Whether you're chasing the newest hobby boxes, grabbing singles, or just want to talk cards with fellow collectors, Shoreline is the spot. They've got a massive selection across basketball, football, baseball, and more, with new inventory hitting the shelves every single week. If you're local, make sure to stop by the shop at 137 Main Street in Port Washington and check it out for yourself. If you're not in the area, no worries at all. You can still keep up with Shoreline by following them on Instagram, eBay, and whatnot for product drops, live breaks, deals, and hobby updates. All links are right in the description down below. Huge thanks to Shoreline Sports Cards for supporting the show and the Brooklyn Nets community. It is the Brooklyn Boys Show right here, streaming live on YouTube and Twitter. He's Josh Woolever. I'm Connor Long. Appreciate you all sticking with us. Shout out to all you great Nets fans out there. Smash the like button and hit subscribe. Questions, comments, thoughts, keep peppering those in the chat. We're going to continue to get to those. On the road to 400 subs it is, so keep hitting the like, keep hitting subscribe. 1,000 by the season. That's the goal. Let's hit 1,000 subs before the start of the season. We could do it at the pace we're on. So let's get to 1,000 subs. We can become one of the one of the second most, I think, subscribed Nets channel if we hit a K. So let's get to 1,000, folks. Appreciate all your support. Appreciate all your kind words. As always, thank you for sticking with us. Josh, Summer League in the books, preseason, obviously the next stop. Summer League was intriguing because you have 5 rookies. You have a lot. It's an experiment year, obviously, for Brooklyn. So you have a lot of new pieces that you're testing in, you're testing out, see what, if anything sticks, just trying to get anything to stick and hopefully have a long-term goal here in Brooklyn. The Nets still have one of their 2-way contracts available. 2 of them obviously tied up with Tyson Etienne and Tosan Iwoma. Josh, anyone who stuck out to you in Summer League that you think should earn that final 2-way spot?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch much of the Summer League because I was out, so I'll defer to you on this one, but all I would have to say is it possible one of those rookies start on Long Island?
Yeah, you wouldn't give a rookie a 2-way, though.
Yeah.
Because they're on a standard rookie deal.
Yeah.
I expect, by the way, side note, I expect a lot of the rookies to start in Long Island. I think Saraf's going to play a lot of time there. I think Powell, surprised. I have a Drake Powell jersey, by the way, Josh. Oh
wow.
You missed this. All the listeners know the joke out here. I ordered a Drake Powell jersey, and it was the day before his number came out. So I was like, he's just wearing the number he wore in college, 14. No big deal. So I bought a 14 Drake Powell jersey. I'll wear it next show. Well, meanwhile, he's really number 4. So
nice. Well, I mean, that's OG because they're not going to be.
And I'll when I meet him this year, I'll be like, Drake, I'm an OG Powell. I own the only number 14 Drake Powell jersey that exists. My understanding. I also got a Day'Ron Sharpe jersey. So we re-upped in the Connor Long Brooklyn Nets jersey collection.
Love it.
Absolutely. When it comes to who I think is going to land this final 2-way spot, and someone else I think is going to spend a lot of minutes on Long Island based on what I saw, is Danny Wolf. He is someone who truly needs to develop from a defensive standpoint and needs to find more consistency with the Rock. So I expect really 3 of those rookies to spend prominent time on Long Island this season, 3 of the first-round picks for that measure as well. When it comes to who I think deserves the 2-way spot, I think it's Caleb Daniels. This is a guy who had a plus rating in pretty much every single game, played scrappy, played hard. The problem is, Josh, this guy has played in leagues all over the world. He is 26 years old, Villanova product. Okay. He has no upside. So if you're going on based on the fact of these guys just flat out earning it, who showed the most in Summer League, I think Caleb Daniels deserves it the most. However, I think it would be a colossal mistake for Brooklyn to hand him a 2-way deal after the fact, given the fact that he's 26 years old and presents pretty much no upside.
I mean, Tosan Iwoma's the same way, waste of a roster space.
Tosan Iwoma at least has an NBA experience. He at least played in some games, and
that's true.
I don't like Tosan, but at least he does have some NBA experience. He's a little younger. He's 24, so he's not 26. He's not to the point where his career is pretty much over and he's just fighting for every single opportunity that he can possibly get. I honestly want to do more research and look around the other guys from the Summer League who stuck out, who thrived, and see if somehow they're able to come in on a 2-way deal. Because anyone on the Summer League roster, I don't think they're worthy of a 2-way deal. I mean, the guy from an upside standpoint would be Grant Nelson, but you need a blend of what you put on tape in Summer League and your upside. Grant Nelson has the upside. He didn't impress me in Summer League. So I think Brooklyn's going to continue to wait this spot out truly until they find someone they're in love with.
Absolutely. That makes sense. And the one thing I did see in the Summer League was the 30 from Drew Timme, and then what do you have the next day, like 20-somethings?
22. Yeah, 22. Drew Timme had a really nice Summer League. He's on a team option, though.
Yeah.
So he couldn't be a 2-way candidate because that would obviously be a super solid 2-way option there.
Yeah.
I mean, is he even going to play a role on this team? There are so many questions now based on this Summer League performance.
Yeah.
And it all stems from the fact that you drafted 5 rookies. Josh,
we'll all do the same thing.
Yeah, among those 5 rookies, among those 5 first-round picks, which ones do you anticipate will spend significant time on Long Island?
Okay, so definitely Ben Saraf. This pick made the least sense to me at the time after you already got Demon and you already got Powell. Like, I literally don't see a world in which he gets any meaningful minutes in Brooklyn this year. Like, he's just like such a project. He's on the taller side for guards at 6'7", I think. But I just don't see a way. Like what role could he possibly bring to this team?
Ben Saraf, obviously, he's 19 years old. He's 6'6". He's one of the project pieces. I liked what I saw out of his speed. I liked what I saw out of his spin move. I liked his mid-range jumper. Struggled
he
at
can
the
get
free
to
throw.
the rack a little bit.
Yep, struggled. I like his speed. Yeah, speed, agility. Struggled at the line. Struggled defensively. This is someone who needs to develop a ton on Long Island. Got into foul trouble during pretty much every single summer league outing. I'm looking at Ben Saroff, obviously headlining that list of the kind of all developmental squad in Long Island.
Yeah.
He's the guy I think when you hopefully, I want to see this team win as many games as possible. If you're final 10 games of the year when you're on a 15-game losing streak and trying to find tank pieces. Maybe he's a guy who comes in and plays some rotational minutes for you then. But I don't see
that's why
him during the
Timmy got called up.
meaningful games. At least I don't expect to see much of Ben Zaroff. And Josh, we speak about these 5 first-round picks. We speak about these 5 rookies, but there isn't much of a veteran presence on this team, truly, when it comes to a veteran mentor like a Kevin Love or a Udonis Haslam for what they did for those teams.
Jeff
for their
Green.
own respective teams. Jeff Green, you mentioned another name there. Do you think the Nets need to add another veteran ahead of the season, kind of just to mentor these rookies? I know it sounds cliche, but this team is a very, very young team. Do you think they need a veteran presence in the locker room on top of already what they have?
I am a big-time proponent of getting someone who's been around the league for a while into the building, help the young guys out, especially after you just took 5 rookies, get them adjusted to what NBA life is like. But it seems as though the Nets have no interest. And it seems as though, as you mentioned, they only want high upside guys. I mean, there's a couple guys on the older side. Nick Claxton, obviously, on his second contract, and Keon Johnson, albeit not that old, feels like a rookie in this building. And just the way his beard looks, Drew Timmy looks like a vet. But you're right. There's literally no veteran presence on this team. Like, can we get a Bruce Brown in the building? I would love it. Like that to me, that's really important. That deserves a roster spot right there. Just getting someone who doesn't have to be in the long-term plans, as we were talking about in the Cam Thomas discussion, who's only here, for 1 year. But I'm a big fan of the vet presence. It seems as though this coaching staff is not, though.
I think they have enough of a vet presence to the point where you don't need to use up a whole roster spot. Like, could Kevin Love be fun? Yes, but I mean the roster spots are so tight on this team. I don't think you have enough room to roster a Kevin Love. I look to a guy like Terrence Mann, who was just acquired this offseason, as someone who is on the older side. I think he's 28 years old, so he's creeping up to around that 30 range. He has NBA experience. He's someone I'm looking at to kind of mentor these younger pieces. So that's someone I look at. I don't think it's quite necessary to use up a whole roster spot to roster just a pure veteran who's going to provide you minimal value on the floor.
But I mean, that's why I wasn't a big proponent of them picking up all 4 of those team options. Like, that just made no sense to me.
That and drafting 5 rookies. You have 9 players there, right?
That's 9 roster spots right there.
I don't think all 4 of those guys are going to make the roster when it comes to the 4 team options. That's what I'm talking about there. I think maybe you keep 2 at max.
Right. I just didn't see the need.
Because then you have Tariq Whitehead too. I mean, you have so many pieces.
Now that's a Long Island candidate, Tariq Whitehead.
He's not a Long Island candidate at all. I think this is last year to show something. I mean, he's fully healthy. He requested to stay another year in Long Island last season. He has to show up or shut up at this point in his career. I mean, he's entering his 3rd NBA season. I've seen enough of Tariq Whitehead development. I want him up in Brooklyn.
I mean, to me, Tariq Whitehead has shown nothing. The injuries have been bad, and he literally doesn't want to be on the court. Like,
he played, so then cut him at that point. I think he's ready. I think he's ready to play NBA basketball at this point in his career. And if he's not, I don't think he's gonna have an NBA career for all that long. This is someone who played valuable minutes, spent valuable games on this Brooklyn Nets roster before ultimately going down in Long Island. We see the flashes with Whitehead. He has to be on the NBA roster. I'm not looking at him for another season on Long Island.
I mean, to me, he doesn't have to be on the roster. He hasn't proved anything. Yeah, okay. I get give him a shot, but
so then what's the point of even rostering him if you're not going to put him?
I don't like Tariq Whitehead. I never have.
How do you not like him? Like that's the thing, and I understand it's frustrating that he hasn't been able to stay healthy and stay on an NBA floor. But how can you hate someone who hasn't had a fair opportunity truly and hasn't been healthy and has flashed at times? Like, I don't get that.
No, I don't hate him. I don't. Like, he hasn't been able to stay healthy, and when he's on the court, he hasn't been giving efficient minutes. Like, I give him a chance, but why does that have to be?
He shot 44.6% from downtown last year, over 12.3 minutes a game, 20 games in Brooklyn.
Why does that have to be?
You just said he was inefficient.
Okay, so even if he did shoot that way, like, why does that have to be a roster spot over guys that like Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, he's going to
Michael
shoot.
Porter's obviously okay. Who on the roster bubble do you think is more worthy of a roster spot than Dariq Whitehead is?
Like Tyrese Martin.
You think Tyrese Martin? Okay, what's the upside with Tyrese Martin?
Good 3-and-D guy and like can develop from downtown. I don't know.
Can develop. He's already on the older side of his career. He's had a full NBA
How old is he?
season. Tyrese Martin, probably at least 25 years old.
Oh, really? I thought that was
could
like
be
his second
wrong.
year.
He's 26, so I was even
Okay.
down by a year. This
All
is
right,
someone
you're
who's
right. All
26
right,
years
no,
old
no.
who
He doesn't
averaged
have
8
much
points,
upside, but just like
averaged 8 points per game last year. Like, come on, let's.
had his
Tyrese
stats.
Martin, I don't think is a great NBA player. I don't think he's a good NBA player. I don't think he's a role player on an NBA team, frankly.
No, like on a good NBA team, I don't see Tyrese Martin on the roster, but the Nets aren't a good NBA team.
Correct, but shouldn't you be prioritizing the upside of someone who you used a first-round pick on just a few years ago over a 26-year-old who played minutes on a team that was pretty much bottom 5 in the NBA when it comes to overall roster talent and couldn't handle the ball?
No, you're right. Okay. I've come around. Dariq Whitehead. I mean, sure. How much time do you think he's actually going to spend on the court? Like, wouldn't you rather him be in the starting 5 on Long Island and like do something before he gets called up, or would you rather him be on the end of the bench and like get less than 10 minutes a game? Like, I
I
don't.
think it's going to get less than 10 minutes a game. This team is prioritizing the development of these younger pieces. I think Dariq Whitehead has a chance to play valuable minutes in Brooklyn.
But there's just like there's a lineup of shooters who already have solidified.
Who? What's
okay? Cam Thomas,
He's a guard.
Yegor Demon.
He's a guard. They're both guards. Dariq Whitehead,
Michael Porter Jr., Terrence Mann. Like these are.
Well, I don't know if Terrence Mann is just as established as Dariq Whitehead. I would personally. I think Dariq Whitehead is such a. Excuse me, take back the word established. I'd rather prioritize the ceiling of Dariq Whitehead. This is someone who has so much more potential. I'd prioritize giving him minutes over 28-year-old Terrence Mann, who's just a salary dump at this point in his career. That's the only reason he's on Brooklyn's squad right now, compared to Whitehead, homegrown kid, a first-round pick from you, who, again, in minimal minutes, we've seen someone who has shot pretty much 45% from beyond the arc, someone who's been very efficient from inside the field. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to prioritize Dariq Whitehead.
I mean, you just said you want this Nets team to win games this year. That's Terrence Mann.
You can win games while prioritizing development too.
What?
You can win games while prioritizing development as well.
Absolutely. I think if you want to win games, though, then you're going to give Terrence Mann a
lot of minutes. Put it this way. I'd rather lose and get 23. I'd rather lose and get 20 points per game from Dariq Whitehead on efficient shooting than win, but it's spearheaded by Terrence Mann, for example. Like I
agree, because even if they do win a couple games here and there, this Nets team isn't going anywhere this year. We're not debating that.
Again, I'm prioritizing development of young players here. That's what I'm saying. I want to win too. I'm prioritizing development first. However, again, I want to win. I want this team to get a play-in spot. I hate tanking. I want to win, but at the same time, I want to see these young guys shine.
Yep.
Josh, is there anyone else on this depth chart that you're keeping a tab on as someone intriguing who no one's really talking about?
I mean, before the Summer League, I was keeping a tab on Drew Timme. I thought he would start on Long Island, but, I mean, let's see what he does in the preseason. He could easily be picking up solid minutes on this.
What's his role on this team right now?
His role on this team right now is 7th or 8th man off the bench. Like he come in and give you like 15-ish minutes and just be a plus defender, dish the ball out for assists and be scrappy and be a good team player.
Who are you prioritizing? Who do you think deserves more minutes on this team, Drew Timme or Noah Clowney?
Noah Clowney.
Clowney.
But Noah Clowney is going to be a
you have
center.
Noah Clowney as your 6th man?
Noah Clowney is going to be a center.
So is Drew Timme.
Isn't Drew Timme going to play power forward?
The thing with this Nets team, Josh, like they don't really focus on positions. They don't hone in on positions.
Yeah, that's true.
We saw they play small ball all the time. Heck, 6'6", 6'7", Zaire Williams, 6'8", whatever he is, lined up at all 5 positions for Brooklyn last year. So, this team doesn't really care about positions. 6'9", Zaire Williams was a center at a point.
That's true.
That last season. So, The way I view it, I just view it, you have 5 guys on the floor, you have 2 guards, and then you need 3 guys who are taller than 6'6".
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, like, Claxton's, like, the only, like, true tall guy, I mean,
Sharp,
except for,
Sharp.
yeah, Sharp, and then if
And
Wolf makes the
Clowney's like
and then if
6'11".
Wolf makes the roster. Clowney's not 6'11", is he?
He's 6'10", 6'11".
Oh, I thought he was 6'9",
He's
6'10".
not smaller. He is 6'9".
Yeah,
I
he's 6'9". Yeah, he's always been small.
No, and then look, it says 6'9" on Google, and then Basketball Reference uses the combine, and they say 6'10". So yeah, I think he measured
Okay.
in the combine at
Alright.
6'10". So again, you don't think I think Danny Wolf is going to spend a lot of time this year on Long Island. I think Drew Timme is going to play more minutes than Danny Wolf overall this season.
Danny Wolf's, like you were talking about Derek Whitehead, Danny Wolf's the guy that I would prioritize getting developmental minutes at the NBA level with.
Danny Wolf is just
He's so undeveloped though. He's raw talent. That's what he is.
He's so raw, and he's 21 as a rookie too. So it's like how many you would expect him to come in and be one of the more seasoned players on this team, given the fact that he's 21 years old coming in as a rookie.
Yeah, like that's a lot of the guys from that draft are 19 and Cooper Flagg's like 18 in a couple months. Like there was so many young guys who went one and done.
Absolutely. So again, how many opportunities can you give him while realizing you gotta, this guy's 21, you gotta try to make something out of nothing here because you don't have as large of a window as you do with a guy like Yegor, Gioman, or a guy like Nolan Traore or anything.
Gioman? Is that it?
Yegor Gioman. That's how he told reporters to say his last name.
Perfect. Gioman. Got it.
Not Demon, not Demeen, not So this is what happened during Summer League with the reporting, Josh. The reporters asked him, how do you say your last name? And then the first day he said Doyman, Yegor Doyman.
Okay.
And then the next day he corrected it and said Gioman. So Yegor Gioman is the way I've been saying it.
Okay, got it, Gioman.
That's the way we're rolling. Appreciate you all tuning in. He's Josh Woolever. I'm Connor Long, right here with you guys on the Brooklyn Boys Show. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. Keep all your questions, comments, thoughts flowing in the chat. We're certainly going to get to those. Appreciate all your support right here on the show. Like I said, folks, keep on smashing that like button. Keep on hitting subscribe. It really does help us grow significantly here on the channel. 396 subscribers right here on the channel. Keep hitting subscribe. Keep hitting the like button. We're going to try to hit 400 subs by the end of the show. I think we can do it. So keep hitting subscribe. Keep hitting the like button. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. Appreciate all your support. As always, Jonathan says, Mark Stein reported today that Cam Thomas is indeed demanding a $30 million salary over the next few seasons. And if Cam doesn't move off that and take a qualifying offer, what is his trade value? A first-round pick. I don't think a lot of people are going to trade for a guy who played 25 games and is now on a 1-year qualifying offer for $6 million. I mean,
that injury did plague his trade stock, and $30 million. Like he's viewing himself pretty highly on the pecking order right now.
Connor and Josh, this front office has a bad record of slightly overpaying players and now want to be extra stingy with Cam Thomas. As the front office giving themselves a bad look? I think they've given themselves a bad look, but in the sense of, Jonathan, that they have their players that they really, really do like. They like Nick Claxton. They love Cam Johnson, those guys for some reason. And then they don't like Cam Thomas. I just think they're extra stingy with the guys they're not enamored with compared to the guys they truly love and want to take care of.
Good example of that was Karis LeVert when they reached on that contract.
There's that as well. Cam at worst could be a third option like Tyler Hero or a sixth man, and the front office might not even value him at that role. If a deal ain't done soon, a trade might happen. I just don't see any trade partner with enough cap space who's not hard capped at the second apron able to make a move. I think calling him Tyler Hero is generous. I think Tyler Hero is a better playmaker and a more efficient shooter.
Yeah, efficiency. Yeah, like Hero and CT, like on a championship winning
Tyler
team,
Hero, sorry to cut you off. Tyler Hero averaged 5.5 assists and 5.2 rebounds last year, while averaging 23.9 points per game. That is way more.
How much time?
How many minutes per game?
Yeah.
35.4 minutes per game, 77 games plays. played.
That's okay. So he stayed healthy, on the court a lot, and he was an overall player. We're both agreeing on this. Cam Thomas is not an overall player. He's a bucket getter on one end of the floor. He's zero value on the other end of the floor, and he's zero value rebounding and assisting. He's only a bucket getter.
That's the issue, and I think that's the problem why he still remains on the open market here.
Yeah.
Jeff Teague said Cam Thomas wasn't done dirty by the front office, and as an offensive specialist, he's always going to get underpaid, but Cam literally had to earn minutes. The literally having to earn minutes part just stems from the fact that I don't think the Nets are in love with him. I don't think the Nets are any rush to hand him out a big deal, and I think he's going to get – I don't think he was done – I think $14 million a year is fair. I think asking for 30-plus being Cam Thomas is absolutely asinine. So when it comes to having earned minutes, I just think that's because the Nets don't love him as much. And then as an offensive specialist, $14 million I think is more than generous.
Yeah. What I would say about that is that I mentioned this before, since the modern game is all about how you can score ISO and where you can score from, that raises his stock a little bit. But when you look at him from a 5-tool guy and you turn on the film and you say, okay, what can this guy do in every department? You're gonna be drawing blanks a lot of the time, unless you're looking at scoring and you're looking at pure shooting.
Marlene says MPJ is a shooter, not a scorer. I wouldn't go that far. MPJ was a very efficient shooter last year and averaged 16 points per game as a third option on that team. I think there's a chance this guy gets you 23, 24 points per game this year. His efficiency might go down because he's taking more shots, but I expect him to average at least 20 a night in Brooklyn.
See, what I think Marlene's trying to get at here is between MPJ and Cam Thomas, who's going to be in the corner knocking down threes and who's going to be hitting a tween hezzy pull-up. Like, it's going to be Cam Thomas as a scorer, and MPJ can be there as an outlet shooter.
Well, I don't. Well, Cam Thomas is not going to be facilitating this offense, even if he comes back. It's going to be Yegor Dioman who's facilitating the offense.
Yeah, that's true.
Compared to
But
last year, I feel like it was a little nuanced having Dennis Schroeder there for the start of the year, then moving off of him. Then we saw Cam Thomas take reps as the point guard, get some running the point guard position.
yeah.
Cam Thomas isn't going to be the facilitator at any point this season. I would, and then the question becomes if Yegor is out, if Yegor is not playing here on this team, I think Nolan Traore is the next one in line to be the facilitator, to take the ball up the court for this team. I think Cam Thomas is very low on that totem pole.
Yeah, he's not going to be the primary ball handler on this team. I don't think that's what he wants either. Like, do we think that's the role he's imagining for himself, that the offense runs through him and he decides where the ball goes every possession? Or do we think that he wants to just be that scoring option?
I mean, he probably wants to do whatever's going to get him the most money. That's the mentality, I think, of any NBA player in today's game. I think that's the mentality that he has. Jonathan, by signing and trading Cam Thomas, how much more pressure does that put on the rookies, and especially that 2026 lottery pick, to become a franchise guy alongside those players? Honestly, not that much, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people are going to be surprised by that answer, but the Nets, again, do not love Cam Thomas, so how big of shoes is it to fill as someone who is getting you 25 points per game on a bad team as the number one option on somewhat inefficient shooting splits? I don't think it puts that much pressure. I don't think you're getting rid of a Jalen Williams or a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or even a Tyler Hero in this situation. So I don't think it's, as big of a deal, and it pushes everything down the road, and it's a franchise-altering decision.
Yes, but when you get a homegrown guy like this, like it sends a message to the locker room that they're just trying to recycle guys. It's beyond me why they don't like him.
With that because they just paid Day'Ron Sharpe, who was a homegrown guy and was an end of the first round pick and end of the first round draft selection. So I don't think it even sends that poor of a message at that point.
Right, but the message it sends is that I think we've known this for a while. Like, Sean Marks is like a particular guy. Like, he either likes you or he doesn't. And clearly he liked Yegor Demon, and clearly he likes Nick Claxton. So he has his guys and he doesn't have his guys. But to me, the lottery guys coming in 26, and it's clear he made all 5 of his first-round selections. A majority of them I would call reaches. So it's clear those were quote-unquote his guys. So whoever this lottery person in 2026 is going to be his guy. So they should come in and expect to get a solid role on this team.
Down under dunker. CT doesn't fit the timeline and isn't what the Nets need. I hope they sign and trade him. I can't see him being a Net. If he is, he'll be super toxic, as he'll be pissed. That as well. Like, I think the relationship, whether he comes back or not, between Cam Thomas and this Nets organization is permanently strained based on what has occurred this offseason with all these different contractual negotiations, obviously. At this point, like, a sign and trade makes the most sense unless he's coming back on a multi-year deal, which I don't think he is.
Now the question becomes, is this not something we had to worry about before this contractual dispute has gone on for 2+ months with no resolution in sight? Like, we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. Like, before all this happened, before he started unfollowing the Nets, and like, it's clear there is some sort of toxicity between the two. Do we think this was something that was going to happen, or has it just stemmed from the fact that Brooklyn and Sean Marks has shown no interest in him?
Jonathan Connor, I know you disagreed with this deal, but Kyle Kuzma and the Bucks, 2031 first or 2032 swap for Cam Thomas makes so much sense. MPJ and Kuzma open up $60+ million in 2027. Jonathan, when you floated out that deal, that was when it was like really looking close to the fact that the Nets were going to re-up with Cam Thomas on a multi-year deal. I'd rather do that trade than play out 1 year of Cam Thomas. Personally, I'd gladly take that package, especially given the fact that you'd have so much cap space, probably around $80 million in 2028.
Was that for the first and the swap, or just the swap rights?
Kyle Kuzma and the Bucks 2031 or 2032 swap for Cam Thomas.
Okay. Yeah, I would still take CT for, but yeah,
you take CT right. over $60+ million in cap space in 2027 in a pick swap.
Well, Cam Thomas wouldn't be taking cap hits in 2027 if it's a
correct, but bringing in Kyle Kuzma, him leaving in free agency opens up $60+ million in cap space alongside MPJ.
But if you re-sign Cam Thomas, that also frees up cap space.
What are you talking about?
If Cam Thomas is a free agent at that point, that's still the cap space.
Nowhere near as significant. I think what Jonathan's talking about here is Cam Thomas on a 1-year deal, or even if he does get a multi-year deal, that's not freeing up much cap space.
Yeah, and then that's true. And then the first round pick, but Kuzma or CT, like, let's say the Nets are not worried about cap space, would you still take Cam Thomas?
I mean, what do you mean if the Nets aren't worried about cap space? I want as much cap space as possible for this team.
Yeah, you want as much cap space as you want, but like going into this year, the Nets weren't like worried about clearing out cap space
because they already had so much cap space.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. They renounced rights of players to literally free up $10 million. So, I think they want as much cap room as possible.
I would, but just like Cam Thomas or Kyle Kuzma on this team, I'm taking Cam Thomas, and then. Yeah, so I'm saying,
but it goes beyond just player for player, though. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I don't understand. Look, you take in Kuzma's contract, and then the cap space gets freed up. Isn't that cap space just floating around? Like, isn't the cap space that you're adding just
no.
The
more veterans you have in the NBA, with the higher. That's why the Wizards are keeping Chris Middleton. That's why the Wizards have CJ McCollum. When you have these veterans on your team, it doesn't matter. They free up additional cap space when they walk.
Okay.
When you have these veterans with huge contracts. Saint comes in, says you resign Cam because he'll be an asset to trade later. Can't lose him for nothing. I think this is the worst time to trade him. Then when are you going to trade him? Saint, when is he going to be able to show that he's an efficient shooter, that he's an efficient scorer, and he's able to be a number one option, not number one, but a starting option on a championship caliber team? I think this is decision time. This is the crossroads for the Nets and Cam Thomas.
I think this is just where his trade stock is so low that, like,
how is he higher, though?
Right. That's the question. Are you banking on him getting better later so that you can? Like, that's got to be one of the main factoring decisions. If they do want to bring him back, is it to move him later on when he's not coming off missing 3/4 of the season?
Let's see. Where are we in the chat? Down under dunker. Clocks equals non-scorer. Ben Simmons equals non-scorer. Clown equals non-scorer. Slayer Williams non-scorer. Keon non-scorer. I can go on and on and on. Easy to score 25 points per game when you're the only scorer. Completely agree. Josh?
It's just time to see what he can do on a winning team. If he can still get minutes when there's other guys around him who are also primary shooters. So in the big three era, that wasn't his time. And I don't know. I guess the Nets haven't seen enough development from him to believe that would be the case moving on. But I think I have.
Jonathan, Nets clearly lack a number 1, 2, and 3 option, which could be Cam Thomas, but he's never been given the keys. So Brooklyn really is lacking that franchise piece, and Yegor has potential, but a long way to go. I don't think Cam Thomas is a franchise piece. I think he's a role player who is a sixth man who can get you 20 points per game on a good team. I don't think he's a franchise-altering piece.
A sixth man who can get you 20 points a game?
On a championship caliber team, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
That's not a franchise-altering piece, though.
For a guy who's playing
a role player.
Less than 30 minutes a game?
That's a role player.
I mean, yeah, like if he's not in the
Is Lou
lineup,
Williams a franchise-altering player?
What?
Is Lou Williams a franchise?
No.
So consider him pretty much Cam Thomas.
Okay.
Like, not a franchise-altering player at all.
Yeah, but six man off the bench, giving your team 20 plus a night.
That's a role player.
Yeah, who should be paid in the 20 millions. Like that's a good player.
Not in the 20 millions if that's all you can do, if you don't offer any defensive value, if you can't pass the ball. Like in today's NBA, Josh, you need to do multiple things in order to take home, a pretty nice paycheck.
I guess, but if you have 5 guys lined up in front of you, like who is a 6-man that's scoring 20 a game these days?
Lou Williams a few years ago in his prime. It happens all the time. You see Lou Dort now doing it. Lou Dort doesn't get you 20 points per game.
Lou Dort scored 20 points a game?
Let me finish.
He was just a good defender.
Let me finish. He does not get you 20 points per game, but he is someone who gets you 10, 12 points per game and then picks up the rest of the slack defensively and then also in the playmaking facet as well. So that's the that's the compromise that you make there.
But if you're telling me that Cam Thomas is playing, what is your 6 man going to get playing? Less than 30 minutes a night.
6 men who average 20 points per game.
What?
There are a ton of current 6th men who average 20 points per game.
Okay, but that's good. Like you're acting like that's like a get him out the door situation.
And like Peyton Pritchard, for example, averaged 20 points per game last year. He's a good role player. He's not a franchise-changing piece or someone I think is worth $20 million a year.
But he's someone I would keep around, like a good role player.
Correct, not $20 million a year, though.
Okay, that's where I disagree with you.
You think someone who can just score and comes off the bench is worth $20 million?
Like, score at such a high level. Like, there's nobody else on this Nets team that can score right now.
But I'm talking about a winning team. I'm talking about a team that's contending for a championship where Brooklyn hopes to be in just a few years.
With as much cap space as they can, like if
it doesn't matter the cap space. You're trying to make the smartest financial decisions.
Yes, and Cam Thomas clearly isn't willing to come back for 14 a year. I would give him that 20.
Why would you give him 20 though?
Because he can score like a high level. He's a good ISO scorer. These are my answers. This is what the modern NBA is built on.
The modern NBA is not built on. Give me a pure scorer other than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Donovan Mitchell because they have counter pieces and sidekicks in Jalen Williams and Darius Garland who can just score and get paid that amount of money.
James Harden.
James Harden was overpaid. That was an awful contract. If you ask all these teams who gave pure scorers big contracts, they'd all be the first to tell you it was a poor decision and they regret that significantly. So,
but James Harden's made NBA 75. He's one of the all-time greats.
I don't think he's an all-time great. We can get to that into another time, though. Anthony Simons was given an $80 million deal as a pure scorer. It's been downhill ever since.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I think a lot of these teams would regret these deals.
That's fair. And it's clear. The Nets had 3 of those guys with the same idea at the same time. We know how it worked out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't think I think being a 6th man who can get you 20 points per game, 15, 20 points per game is a valuable asset as a role player. I don't think it's a franchise-changing piece or one that should get paid $20+ million a year. Down under Dunker, we now have Yegor, Nolan, Powell, and Wolf, who once developed can all average 15 to 20 points per game. And Adam MPJ could score 26 tonight. All have size and can develop their defense. Yeah, looking real nice.
That's a stretch.
Yeah,
I think all three of those guys are averaging 20 a night.
I think all three of those guys can. All four of those guys can. I don't know about MPJ at 26. I'd put MPJ in the 23 to 25 range, but I mean, what tells you, Josh, that all four of those guys couldn't be scoring 20?
Yeah. What has told you? Like, what has told you?
What has
like,
told me that
Nolan
Nolan Traore's explosiveness, his ability to get to the rack with his speed and his agility, his 3-point percentage, which we saw in the summer league, and ability to knock down the corner three. Drake Powell was one of the most lethal catch and shoot three threats at North Carolina last season. And then Danny Wolf, when he's on, he can hit from downtown. Obviously, has that size.
Yeah. Yes. These are four guys with a lot of upside. These are not four guys who are all going to pan out.
How do you know that?
I mean, like, so how do we know that all the entire roster is not going to be all-stars? Like,
well, how do you know all four? How do you know these guys aren't going to pan out? I can't come to that conclusion. I have high expectations for all of those guys. I can't come to the conclusion that they're going to be busts and not pan out right out of the way. I haven't seen them suit up for an NBA game before.
I didn't say bust, but I would say that it's ambitious to say that they're going to be dropping 20 a night before you see them play a game. Why can't they? Obviously they can. Anybody can do anything.
So I think that's down under Dunker's message here. Like when these guys hit their ceilings, which is obviously why the Nets drafted them, they could be at that ceiling where they're averaging, 15, 20 points per game. I'm still sold on the fact that is a valuable, especially to have four guys who could do it. One in Yegor Gioman, who also contributes in multiple different areas with his 6'8" frame defensively. You have the upside there, along with obviously his highly renowned playmaking ability. So that's the way I'm looking at it here. Where are we in the chat? Jonathan, with Nick Claxton unfortunately still on this team at the 5, will Brooklyn play Wolf at the 4 and Dayron at the 5 off the bench, or will Wolf get the burn at 5? Is he a combo big? Josh?
Yeah, I think that Claxton's still going to start at the 5, obviously, and I think
Dayron's talking about off the bench.
Yeah, and I think that Dayron is going to be the second option off the bench.
I think Dayron will be the second option. I think Clowney I think Clowney and Dayron are going to be the two options off the bench.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely that they go.
I think the starting 5 this season is Yegor, Cam Thomas, Zaire. Not Zaire. That's tough. Small forwards tough. I'll say Zaire, MPJ, and Claxton.
That's a good list. I agree. I don't think they're going to be running a lot of double big action with 6'11" Claxton, 7-foot Wolf at the same time, because the Nets love to run it small.
Absolutely. Again, keep the questions coming in. Appreciate all your support as always right here on the Brooklyn Boys Show. Appreciate you all tuning in. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe. We're on the road to 400 subs. We're trying to hit 1,000 before the season. We're at 396 last I checked, and we are still at 396 right here on the show. 168 of you guys watching right here on the show, so make sure you all smash the like button and hit subscribe. It really helps us grow significantly right here on the channel. Appreciate all of your support, as always, right here on the Brooklyn Boys Show. Robert says Dariq Whitehead has huge potential, which I feel we'll see this year.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. I mean, this is someone who's been in the league for such a long time now. I think it's put up or shut up, which the reference I kind of made there earlier, and I think he needs the show his worth right now.
Yeah, this is it. This is it for him. Like, if this year doesn't go right, I don't see where and why he would ever get another shot.
Giving you sports from my view comes in, says Timmy Smokes Clowney.
I would disagree, because Clowney actually played a genuine role in this Nets team. Timmy came in for the last 10, 15 games and had a couple nice performances, albeit there was no Cam Thomas. Like, he was basically hooping with a bunch of G Leaguers out there. No disrespect to some of those other guys on the court, but Drew Timmy was getting a ton of minutes a night to take a ton of shots. And I think Clowney just has more respect from this coaching staff.
Agreed there, but I think, again, it's kind of going to be you have to earn these roster spots, and I think
Yeah.
that's the key thing. And I think a lot of it's proven throughout the preseason, and obviously as the regular season progresses, we'll see more defined roles for all these players. Marlene says Drew Timmy won't make the final roster. What do you think there, Josh?
I mean, I disagree. If the preseason is an encore to what we saw in the summer league, and he's playing as well as he did, and what did he shoot? I think he shot like 9 of 14 one game. Like he was a good shooter. He was very, very solid in the summer league. So I obviously take it with a grain of salt. He's playing a lot of guys who won't make rosters on other squads, or if they will, they'll be third string options. So obviously there's not a ton to be said there, but if he plays like he did in the summer league in the preseason, he's definitely got my roster spot on. Let's see why he wouldn't there.
Down under Dunker, I'd take Hero over CT any day. Ask any GM, would you trade Hero for CT? And 10 out of 10 says hell no.
What? What is it?
You're referring to the take that you made comparing Tyler Hero to Cam Thomas.
Yeah, I think they're pretty similar, but he's saying I would take CT over
No, I'd take
Hero over CT, and then ask any GM, would you take Hero for CT? And they say no, so I don't get it.
I think he meant to say, would you take CT for Hero? That's what he meant to say.
Would, like, if I'm the Heat, would I give
Just
away?
saying like they're incomparable.
Okay, that's.
I think
So
they're
he thinks
incomparable.
Hero's that much better?
I think Hero's 10 times better than Cam Thomas is.
10 times better? Wow.
Obviously, that's an exaggeration. I think Tyler Hero's a way better basketball player than Cam Thomas is, though.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's fair. But on a team that needs a pure scorer, no. On a championship team, yes.
But what team really just needs a pure scorer right now in the league?
The Nets?
The Nets were
one of the worst 3-point shooting teams last year.
The Nets aren't a contending team.
Yeah, you're right. That's
I said what contending team?
What contending? Oh, you said team? Contending team. I heard
what
team?
Contending team just needs a pure scorer.
No, there's not many.
So that's the thing. Like, what is Cam's value on a true winning caliber contending team?
Like 5 years down the line from now, or this upcoming season?
Right now.
Right now, his value is that he's going to take a high quantity of shots, and he's going to give you close to 30 a night, and he's not going to shoot very efficiently because he's going to be told to take a lot of shots because there's not a lot of guys behind him who can score like he can.
Interesting take there. Down under Dunker agrees with me. Says CT is more like Lou Williams or a slightly better Pritchard. Pritchard plays his role very well. CT should be our Pritchard.
That would just be camping out from three. Like, you do not want Cam Thomas to, like, drive in and hit a 16-footer. Like, I feel like Pritchard is just always letting it fly from three. Like, is he even, like, attacking the cup or taking mid-ranges, or is he just purely a 3-and-D guy?
He's too small, that's why. So it's like there's no point of him trying to use his, physicality or lack thereof to try to make plays there. So that's the
right. I would definitely take Thomas over Pritchard.
Exactly. I think they're comparable. I'd probably go Cam Thomas though. I think it depends because Peyton Pritchard averaged 15, 16 points per game on a team that almost just won an NBA championship for the second year in a row. So
yeah, but he's got scores in front of him like Brown and Tatum. So obviously he's not that number one option as CT is when healthy on this Nets.
But CT is the number one option on a bad team. Like if you put Peyton Pritchard on the net, if you put Peyton Pritchard on the Nets, I think he'd put up the same numbers as Cam Thomas does.
We're in agreement on that. I know because Pritchard is purely a 3-point shooter and Cam Thomas can take a guy to work and hit a mid-range pull-up, which I think Pritchard just catches and shoots from beyond the arc.
Pritchard averaged 10.8 field goal attempts per game last year, which isn't awfully low. And then Cam, let's see what Cam averaged from when it comes to Cam shots.
In a small dosage.
He averaged 18.2, so he was shooting a lot more from inside the field.
And I think that's exactly what the coaching staff and Jordy wanted.
What, a guy who could drive and use physicality?
Yeah, just a high quantity of shots.
I get that. I can see that. I mean, when you're the number one option on a team that is one of the worst rosters in the NBA, you want high volume of shooting there. Absolutely.
Yep. Like LaMelo Ball.
Anthony, regarding Cam Thomas, the assessment suggests that he transcends the controversial classifications of a bench player or a role player, indicating a more significant contribution to the team's dynamics.
Somebody dumb this down for me.
regarding Cam Thomas, the assessment. He's talking about throughout his career, he is viewed as a role player or a bench player.
On a championship team, I'll go back to this point. On a championship team, Cam Thomas is not in the starting lineup, and he's gonna be coming off the bench. And on this Brooklyn Nets team today, he's gonna be taking a high quantity of shots because that's what they need right now. So he can contribute in two different ways on two different teams.
Josh, has Harden ever won has Harden won a championship since Timothy Park? You called him one of the all-time greats.
He was an NBA 75, wasn't he?
Was
I'm
he?
not all-time great. It's just a general term. There was a point prime Harden on the Rockets with his little step back. Yeah, that's prime Harden. That's awesome.
Prime Harden, I don't think is an all-time caliber player. I don't think Prime Harden is a generational talent for that matter.
Generational talent, yes. Depends where you draw the line at all-time player.
Yeah, I don't think he's a top 100 player in it. Do you think he's a top 100 player in NBA history? Do you hear that?
Yeah, I do hear that.
God, what is happening? Is someone had do not disturb on? Sorry about that, folks. Before the show started, literally put do not disturb on, and my phone is getting blown up right here on the show. So
It just happened to me, actually. I was getting a text while I was on do not disturb.
Yeah.
I went to sleep. Try that. See if it works better.
Yeah, I silenced it. It's gone now.
But I see. It's always tough to do these Wilt Chamberlain on James Harden. They played 50 years apart and they play 5 possessions apart. So,
yeah.
It's almost sure, I'll say yes for the sake of this argument.
Do you still hear that?
Yeah, I do.
God,
Cam Thomas may be deserving of a contract similar to Damian Lillard or Dylan Brooks, excuse me. 4 years, $80 million. Thomas just hasn't been fully healthy. So Sheldon's talking about what Cam Thomas could be. Connor, you're obviously going to disagree with this.
Sorry, what was that comment? Sorry. Josh, give me your answer. Sorry, I'm handling something. I'm handling something here. Give your thoughts and then I'll pop in.
All right, cool. Handle that. I would say that Cam Thomas, when healthy, yes, has the potential. No, will not get this kind of contractual offer from the front office, because if he would have gotten it, first of all, he would have said yes already. Second of all, the contract offer would have already been made already. So I feel like this kind of possibility of him staying 4 or 5 years and getting paid a lot of money is way out the window.
The Dylan Brooks contract, I think we can all agree, might go down as one of the worst contracts in history. I don't think Cam Thomas is anywhere near deserving of $80 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Brooks, that Magic trade, the Mikal Bridges trade, these are all the bad moves.
Yeah. Marlene, what are the Nets plans with their $22+ million cap space? Some of it'll probably go to Cam Thomas and then the rest will just sit there. I don't think there's any big moves coming up.
Not much. If it were to happen, it would have happened by now. And I think the Nets just roll with what they've got. They barely have a roster spot if they did want to pay someone that type of money. So either it's going to CT or they are or they're living cap free. Maybe they try and pick up a big hit at the deadline, but I feel like other teams around the league, if they were trying to ship that off, would do it before the season so they could free up a guy to get on the roster for 82 games instead of 40-something games. So it feels like they could do something like that at the deadline to try and stockpile a couple more picks. But I feel like from the other team's perspective, they would, if they wanted to salary cap dump, they would have done it by now. Cam Thomas could help Detroit. Sorry,
we'll wrap up with this point here from Wolf Warner. Would you take Cam Thomas for Jaden Ivey in a first-round pick?
Current Cam Thomas, probably. I mean, Cam
today,
Thomas
the trade would be made today.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. But Cam Thomas, yes. Cam in Detroit, how would that pair with Cade? They're both them number one guys, so I don't know how that would
Cade's more of a playmaker.
Yeah, than Cam Thomas, yeah. But he's also he can hit a bucket from anywhere, too.
I'd take Jaden Ivey over Cam Thomas pretty much any day of the week.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree to that deal.
I think Jaden Ivey's just all around a better basketball player.
Yeah, Nets DNA says Cam's a number 2 for the Pistons and the Magic. For the Magic, I don't know about.
Who would you put over him on the Magic?
Who did they just trade for Brooks?
Magic, Dylan Brooks. No, I don't think they did. I mean, when it comes to who you'd put, they traded for Desmond Bain.
Definitely. Okay.
He'd
I'd
be the
probably
fourth
put
option on that team.
Caro.
I
I might even.
I
Oh, Bain. Desmond Bain.
It would be Jalen Suggs, Franz
Bancaro.
Wagner, Desmond Bain, Bancaro. Cam is the fifth option.
Yeah, Cam's not number 2 on the Magic.
He's a fourth or fifth option. You can maybe argue that but Franz averaged 24 points per game on that team, and they went to the playoffs.
Yeah, if you insert him onto the Magic, he's not a number 2 option. Is he a number 2 on the Pistons? Outside of Cade?
If Ivy stays there, he'd be 3. But if Ivy's gone, yeah. But again, you have Jalen Duran too. Like Jalen Duran, I think, is far more valuable than Cam Thomas is.
And that's legend Dennis Schroeder.
There we go. All those different names in Detroit. We're talking about Cam Thomas, whether he's going to stay, whether he's going to go. He remains a restricted free agent alongside Josh Giddey, Quentin Grimes, and then obviously Jonathan Kuminga among the notable names who still remain restricted free agents. Appreciate you all tuning in right here on the Brooklyn Boys Show. He's Josh Woolever. I'm Connor Long. Thank you all for tuning in. We should be back tomorrow with another live stream, so stay tuned for that. Smash that like button. Keep hitting subscribe. Both of those are completely free, and it helps this channel grow significantly. Stay tuned for daily content. We get guests, we get insiders here, so stay tuned for all of that. Appreciate all of your support. As always, that'll do it for us right here on the show. Josh, first show back. Any final thoughts before we say so long?
Well, I'm very happy to be back. Thank you for having me on, Connor. Thank you to all our amazing...
It's your show, too.
What?
It's your show, too. Thank you for having me.
No, just like I'm just glad to be back. And
there we go.
Thank you to everyone in the chat. I hope Cam Thomas resigns soon, but until then, it'll be more speculation.
Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Appreciate all of your support. As always, right here on the Brooklyn Boys Show. He is Josh Woolever. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off right here on the Brooklyn Boys Show. Shout out to all you Net fans out there. Have a great rest of your night. And as always, go Nets, baby. Peace.
Go Nets.